Every October since 2011, Retro Movie Geek has brought you the spooky side of retro movies. And this year is no different. So, a haunting we will go, as we dig up classic tales of ghosts and hauntings that are 20 years old or older. But remember, we spoil the hell out of every movie we cover. So consider yourself forewarned. Spooky Flix Fest starts now.
Hey, wake up! Wake up, everybody! It's a gorgeous day! Gorgeous day! Come here.
20th Century Fox presents the story of Carla Moran,
Okay, now look.
the most extraordinary case in the history of psychic research.
Everything broke loose. It went crazy. And everything was shaking. The bed was shaking, and the walls were shaking. And
Like an earthquake.
no, it wasn't like an earthquake. It was much stronger than any earthquake.
Oh, wait a minute. Honey, I don't really understand this. You were attacked? Or you weren't? It happened. I was raped.
You were raped by whom?
I don't know. There was no one there.
A team of experts will investigate her life.
Why does he attack you, Carla? Not anyone else. Why is she going to such lengths to support this delusion?
And they will find more than evidence. They will find the entity.
Welcome to Spooky Flix Fest 2023. I am Gilman Joel, and I am joined by a guy who thinks he's in a found footage film, Diabolical Daryl, who I assume can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, and Pumpkinhead Peter, who
Not a
like,
pumpkinhead. I can't find a pumpkin.
who reminds me of Lucas Haas in Lady in White for some reason.
Yeah, I
Wow,
see
did
that.
he have?
You
did
see
he
it?
have
Do you see it?
fangs?
Okay. No, he has a mask he wears when he's trapped in the
Yeah,
closet.
I know. I'm not gonna wear this all the time because it's fucking hot.
Yeah, I bet it would be. We are covering The Entity from 1982, but before we get into all that business, we are joined a returning guest who, despite Peter's horrific take on George Romero's Knight Riders, he has agreed to grace us with his presence.
Again with Blame the Dane. Always blame the Dane. We've established that.
Welcome back, Rick Patterson. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, nerd.
Now, what was and I mean this sincerely, I don't take it personally. What was the last movie you joined us for? Because I don't remember. I never remember.
It was Rolling Thunder, actually.
That's
It
what it
was.
was. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
A
Okay.
good movie.
Yes, it was a very good. Whoa, what do you say? What do you already? Are you
No.
Do we have to do this again?
throwing shade at The Entity already, Peter?
Oh, I hope not.
We don't know, do we?
Okay. Real quick before we go any deeper, that's what she said. Daryl. Daryl. Maybe I shouldn't make those jokes for this particular movie.
I don't think you should.
No, I really should.
No.
You're gonna trigger.
I know you're gonna want to like punch me in the face more than usual with what I'm about to say, but is your AC running by chance?
Yes, because they have a heat wave.
Okay.
Yeah.
You better go catch it for starters. Secondly,
wow.
secondly, did you move? Did you change? But anyway, it was like making like whenever you're not talking, I'm hearing a noise. That's the reason why I asked.
I was in the same spot I was in when we started this show 3 hours ago.
Okay. 3 hours ago.
Difficulties.
Okay. Well,
Very
when you're not talking, if it's for a lengthy period of time, which we both know probably won't happen, just maybe mute yourself or whatever, just so that way I don't pick it up the whole entire
thing.
I did. Maybe it's something to do with the stream.
Yo. I guess it works.
All right. So, point is, Rick is here, and we are covering The Entity from 1982. Peter, do you have a VHS synopsis?
I'm supposed to point that way. Damn, I haven't figured this out yet.
I know, it's very difficult to figure out.
Yeah.
It's this way.
Okay.
Where is it?
So, something is after Carla Moran. It wants her soul, it wants her body, there's no stopping it, and there's nowhere she can run. The entity has come for Carla. She doesn't know what it is or why it has chosen her, but she is its victim. It torments her in her bedroom, it attacks her in a friend's home, it even seizes control of her car while she is behind the wheel and almost kills her. But the entity won't kill Carla because it has other things in mind for her. Sorry. Dazzling special effects, powerful acting, a taut, tightly written script, and imaginative direction all combined to make the entity a powerhouse of a film that will rivet you to your seat. Not just glue you to your seat, but rivet to your seat.
But in all seriousness, that was actually a halfway decent synopsis.
It was, yeah.
It was accurate.
Yeah, we definitely did not get the usual. Did they even watch the same movie?
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds like they actually watched it.
It sounds like the entity,
or at least read the memo they were given when they were doing their copy. Yeah, exactly.
And it'd say something like a raunchy ghost love story between a woman and a ghost. And
did you watch a different movie, Daryl? Because I don't think.
But that's what I mean. That's what if it was the best.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. Yeah.
Spirit. She's a single mom.
Yeah.
Can these two crazy kids get along?
Yeah. In this erotic take on. Oh, whoa, cut it. All right. So, Daryl, when did you first see The Entity?
I don't ever remember seeing it until I watched it today.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember this.
But it's Barbara Hershey.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
He watched his beaches. He just watches beaches on a loop. That's really his only.
Should.
Ghost raping is just not a movie.
Well, I get that, but it's still it's a classic movie. I mean, a lot of people know this movie. Right?
I don't remember it. If I did see it, I don't remember it. I don't know how I could forget this shit.
Yeah, you live in New York City. You were there during the heyday of the 80s grindhouse circuit. You could have been walking down, was it 42nd Street, and I guarantee you this would have been playing next to like some porn shop. And you're telling me you didn't go in and see this?
Yeah, because that's what we did all day. We just walked around porn shops. Is that what you're saying?
That's what they told us. That's what they said happened in New York.
I do the same thing to my father-in-law because he's a New Yorker for his entire life. He lives out Long Island. And I'm just like, oh, you guys went to 42nd Street all the time. You're like, no, we didn't fucking go there all the time. Stop. I asked for stories, and they're like, maybe.
I mean, there was a strip club on 42nd. That was nice. That I went to a couple of times.
But guys like me and Joel think that you guys just went there all the time. It's if Sleeping Beauty was playing here and there's a porn shop here, you guys hung out there all the time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. We did. That's what you do. It's what you do.
All we did. Birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. We went straight to
the next theater. It wasn't the Sleeping Beauty. It was the Beauty.
Oh, one of those.
Right.
One of those.
Right.
All right, Peter.
Yes.
I know fuck. I am sure you have seen this motion picture many times. You weirdo. I mean. I'm sure you've seen it before.
You would be surprised.
By the way, hey, Daryl, this whole show, let's just judge. Let's be super judgy. Yeah. How could you watch this trash, Peter?
I knew you were watching this thing in slow motion. You sick motherfucker.
You've seen this before.
You sick motherfucker. Yes. And you loved it.
I know you're not sick.
And you loved it.
Yeah. All right. So the important question, Rick.
Yes.
When did you first see this movie?
I saw this on HBO probably around 82, 83. One of these things I shouldn't have been watching. You'd have been a fairly young kid, I would assume, at that time. Yeah, I guess I would have been like 10, 11 around the time. So, and it kind of freaked me out.
It's like, dude, why are those boobies moving by themselves? I don't understand. Mom and Dad.
I like watching porn at night. This is wrong. This is
wrong. Yeah, exactly. So I, like Daryl, had never seen this movie before. I saw it for the first time within the last week is when the first time I had ever seen this movie. And honestly, it's not because of Daryl's like, oh, I'm so virtuous, moralizing, please don't judge me nonsense. I'm far too depraved for that. But I just never got to it. Like, it's just one of those, like, I honestly thought, I think the reason why I wouldn't say avoided it, but I just felt like I thought it was more of a melodrama for some reason. I don't know why I thought that, but I didn't.
What?
I don't.
What? I mean, this movie, there's no build-up. It just goes straight into
it does.
Attack.
It really does.
I don't even think it's 5 minutes in before we get the first rape.
Not even.
Yeah.
So,
and here's what I'm going to say on the outset, because I feel like I don't want to. This is not one of those where look, he's withholding what he really feels about the movie to the end. Isn't he being so clever? Not really. No, I actually loved the movie. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, you love that, huh? You sick piece of shit.
No.
Look here. Am I in the right direction? No. Look here, man. I feel like the Hollywood squares. Man.
Oh no, or the Brady, like the really lame Brady Bunch boxes. Yeah. Oh, I just realized that too. So if anybody's listening to this in the audio version and you want to see the video version, go over to YouTube, Mom and Pop Video Shop. You can watch it there.
I bet you wrote
forgotten something.
What?
Press play on the fucking VCR.
Oh no, I did that on purpose. So that's the only thing I got to find out. I'm just using the menu in the background.
Oh
I guess gosh. if I partially block it, maybe that'll work. Here we go.
But are we not going to watch the movie then?
Okay.
I can't see that shit.
Hold on.
There you go.
I can't see it.
We've had moving pictures for the other podcast.
Did you when the ghost got arrested? Did you write a letter of intent so the judge would be leaning on the ghost for raping those women? Did you do that? You sick piece of shit. You sick piece of shit.
No.
I got the helpers off.
First off, despite your grandstanding and virtue signaling, I think this actually handles the subject matter, considering what the subject matter is, exceptionally well. Like, I think it was like this could have been far sleazier than it actually was. Like, the vast majority of actual attacks, there's no nudity. The only one you get any nudity is like really towards the end, and it's extreme. But it's
more importantly, there's no sexiness to it.
Not a bit. There's nothing. There's nothing.
There's no eroticism.
There's no way you can watch any of these sequences and take any level.
No.
Unless
if you do,
you're a sick fucking Dane.
See, and that's where Sidney J. Fury directed it. What an interesting guy, man.
Iron Eagle.
Exactly. Before we even started, Joe and I were talking about that. We were talking about filmmakers and what is directing. Sidney J. Fury, his career is really wild because he did this. He did Iron Eagle. He did sadly, he did Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Oh, wow.
But what's really interesting, because we were talking about camera work, Joe and I.
Sick son of a bitch.
This movie goes out of it. He does this very unique thing where he uses very unorthodox camera angles. Like when Ron Silver, when she goes to get help at the clinic, any of the sequences in that room use these very unorthodox, not only is it a low angle, but it's slightly
like a Dutch angle.
Right.
And when I decided to revisit this again on Blu-ray, I decided my wife wanted to watch it as well, and she picked up on that, and she, would be defined as a normie. She said it's really interesting the way the director does that, and she was also a very good gauge to make sure with my male eyes if whether or not this handled the material carefully.
Right.
And she felt that it did. She felt that it was hard hitting when it needed to, and that it was respectful in terms of it's not designed to entice you into the imagery.
It's more
in the music, the score bangs that home too, and those scenes, it's intense.
It's
that
more.
entire score is actually brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Charles Bernstein, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Cujo. And you can hear echoes of that score. In there.
And real quick, Rick, I don't think it's you, but one of my other two compadres, are you messing with something? Because I hear like a noise, almost like there's something in the background, like somebody's doing dishes, which would be weird because I don't think it's anybody else hearing that.
Unless doing dishes, you mean a dog eating a bone.
There it is. Okay, that's fine. As long as I know what it is. I just didn't know what it was. Okay.
Yeah. It's the only way to keep that son of a bitch quiet.
Okay. So, Davey, if you hear somebody doing dishes, it's actually Davey, Daryl's dog, chewing a bone.
Yes.
And it's sort of like a symbol of the male genitalia, and the fact that the movie like this makes one want to destroy it. That's what.
So that's the bone. That's the bone.
I'm just making crap up. I'm just making. Yeah. I was gonna start talking about the male gaze, just so I can sound like a real a-hole.
No.
But to go back to what Rick says, these rape scenes, these attacks are
they're horrible. It's always horrible, but it's not. Yeah. This isn't played like. Look, a lot of movies, especially from this era, get a lot of slack, and sometimes rightfully so, where you're like, yeah, you feel like you're trying to make this a little more.
It's not like
sexy.
Death Wish or Savage Streets, which obviously was meant to be a little,
It's more of an indictment on the psychiatry.
That that too. Yeah.
More than anything,
I enjoyed that. Else. It was like The Exorcist. You really turned against the medical profession. Discounting
idiots.
Because it wasn't so much that I get being skeptical about something like this, but it was the way that it's not your job to disprove it.
Yes.
It's your job to find out what could be the issue and work through it.
Apparently,
and he was so determined.
Masturbation.
Yeah, he was so.
That was the most ludicrous explanation. Yeah.
Yes.
But even now, we've gone through psychiatry and stuff, and how when a man explains a mental issue and a woman explains a mental issue, what's thought of first, and how they're not listened to. Mm-hmm. Completely, right?
Well, there's an arrogance that as I don't want to speak for anyone else here, but as one who's actually gone to a psychiatrist, I know
I have too.
Shocking to learn.
Dealing with you.
I said gone to, dealing with me. I imagine you have.
Yeah, plenty.
But I got that there is it's like look, let's be frank, man. Not everybody, but a lot of people who are doctors of anything, some can get a God complex.
Yes.
And if you come in there and you say, they almost pat you on the head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And especially for the Barbara Hershey character, because you got a woman. But first off, I want to get this out of the way. I loved that, and I almost never take notes on the movies we cover. I just it was fine, and then we're going to talk about the cast and crew. This one, I took copious notes because I was so into this movie. So within the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds, her character is established.
Yes,
and we're in her life, and it's like it's all done in this really clever way where it's just little bits and pieces. But we know she's a working mom. She's single. We know she's studying. She's studying to try to make better her life for her kids.
Right.
She's immediately relatable and likable and interesting. All within the first 2.5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And then I put in the first 6 damn minutes, she's attacked. And it's sudden and ferocious. Like, it's brutal. And it's again, the way
part of these attacks, they keep, because when you get to the second one in the bathroom, you think this is so violent and so brutal.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the third attack in front of her kids where the son is thrown. I was like,
but that's the one that threw me, because when the son's arm is broken.
Yeah.
And there's no way that she could have broke it because she's not big enough.
It's hysteria. It's masturbation.
Or strong enough to break it.
That's
right. The way he tried to tell the son who was not a baby. Like, not like you were talking to a baby.
Yes, but he talked down to everybody.
Yeah,
he was so arrogant. He talked down to everybody. By the way, I also like, because it's 1982, right? Mm-hmm. But her son, is a mixed race kid. He's, but they never made like a big deal about her first husband. It was her first husband, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So they didn't make a big deal about that.
I don't even think they were married, because didn't they?
I think 16. No. She said that was my first husband.
They were married.
But she said, okay. But she
but he was a couple
when he died.
Yeah. He died like right after she got pregnant. Yeah. But I love, talk about great writing, man. I loved that little. I'm sorry. It's like we watch so much garbage nowadays. Everything's so on the nose. When she's talking to Ron Sover and she says, "My dad," talks about her dad, right? We get the whole thing. He was a very
dad.
But she says I like the way he held me. Why? He didn't hold me the way a father should hold his daughter. That's all she says. And you know exactly what she's driving at.
Right.
You know exactly.
But the doctor's first thing you can see is the churning mind going, oh, she must be, this must be repressed sexual abuse.
He's a classic Freudian. He's a Freudian. It's got to be mom wanting to do something to the son in order to explain it. And I weirdly had a feeling that was where, before he ever went there, I was like, I bet you this sick SOB is going to suggest.
Well, you saw where the questions went. Like, you like sex? Do you fuck upside down? Do you fuck sideways? Like
he didn't quite do that.
But he did get into her sexual.
He did. It was very.
And can we just establish how great of an actor Ron Silver is? Because he's just really a fucking douchebag in this one.
Oh, yeah, but he was still somewhat like you still got why he was the way. What, Rick? I think you were going to say something.
No, I was going to say he is. I really love the way he played that character because he's not an asshole.
No.
He's not a character in any way. Shape. You're just kind of wondering why. What's his dog in the hunt? Does he?
Yeah, I think he's trying to be.
Is he attracted to her, or is he just really coming from the moral standpoint of I can help her?
I think he is an asshole when
these ghost hunters aren't going to help her. They're making the situation worse.
Yeah,
and I think he plays that line very well. He played two doctors the same year, by the way, because he played the doctor in Silent Rage, which was
I forgot about that. Yeah, good point.
Chuck Norris.
I kind of thought he was an asshole because it wasn't about helping her when the other doctors got involved. It was more about he was angry that they took over his patient, like the way he was, because the way he responded to the lead doctor,
right.
It moved away from him wanting to help her and more of I need to be right because I don't believe in what these other doctors.
That's his arrogance. Yeah. No, I don't think it's territorial. I think it's the classic. These people are these people. Well, I guess it is in a sense. These people are beneath me. I'm above them. I know more than them. I'm smarter than them. They're charlatans. I'm going to expose everything. And you get it's so funny. Like people that like that, where they're very intelligent, they're very well educated, but they believe they are extraordinarily open-minded.
Sure.
But when you get a little bit in, it's like, are you though? Are you? It's actually you're fairly narrow-minded, but you've convinced yourself that you are the one. You see the big picture. You get it. These people are full of crap. And like even to the point, I don't want to jump way ahead to the end, but what his response, where that dude just straight up runs into the situation, to gank her out without. No one asked you to do that.
No,
she's a free, independent human being.
She said no. When he asked, she said, "I do not."
That's kind of what his boss or what the old guy he said. We can't do anything because it's her free will.
What was weird though, what got kind of creepy, was when he was like, "I'm the one that cares for you." It's me.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was attracted to her. I think
he was.
Yeah. It's Barbara Hershey. Okay.
When he kept saying, "I'm the one that cares about you."
Mm-hmm.
Don't you want that kind of relationship? And she said, no.
Nope.
I don't want that kind of connection.
I like it violent. Oops, sorry, did I say that out loud?
You like a what? What did you say?
I said no. I like. He said, "Don't you want that?"
This is the last episode we're doing.
Violent.
This is the last episode we're going to be able to do before they shut us down.
I think it's possible. Yeah,
not to get canceled.
No, but you kind of, even though these when you see that meeting, that staff meeting where they're kind of just pushing her down. And they're again, we've talked about this before. They're at a hospital and they are smoking like fucking chimneys.
Oh yeah,
big cigar pipes and everything.
It was the 80s. It was a different time.
Yeah, but you can kind of I wrote down idiots. That's just. But you can kind of still, to some capacity, understand their thinking, because she comes in and says she's raped by a ghost.
Yeah, of course you're gonna be like,
so you can kind of in some way understand, but they could have done it in a more professional way.
Their idiocy, Peter, to me, their idiocy is grounded in their absolute faith, and that's really all it is, in their position of power as the expert class. They know better than you. Full stop.
In therapy, you're not supposed to prove that your job is not, I learned this from therapists, you're not supposed to try to prove that they're crazy. Like, that's the first thing you always see in these movies, is they got to prove, you're crazy. We got to you got to put you in a room. You got to separate you from everybody. That's not what your job is. Like, you have to prove if she's a danger to herself or her kids, and she didn't.
Her kids.
And that wasn't proved. And that's what the doctor tried to tell him. The lead doctor tried to tell him, and he didn't hear anything that man said, and he kept he just kept going, just kept going on and on and on, and trying to get her to say something really, I guess that was so off the chart, crazy, as they would say. Not really supposed to say crazy, but off the charts. That
I'm sorry, Daryl, the correct way to say it is cray cray.
So he could get her to so they could have her committed, pretty much, because that's what he was trying to do. And so I did get a sense of he was being an asshole. I did get a sense that he had blurred the lines, that he got a little too connected to her, and she did not reciprocate that. And
I think that's comes down to Ron Silver again, his acting, because he is a bit of an asshole, but he still cares for her, and he still cares for himself about him being right.
I think ultimately he wants to do good regardless.
Yeah.
Right. Reasoning why he wants to. I think
sure.
He played that pretty well, where he's like, "Oh no, this is what's right. In addition, I'm right. And this is what I want to do." But you without being outwardly apparent, you can tell that he cares for it.
You know what he is? He's a 3-dimensional character in a movie.
Yeah, imagine that. What a novel idea.
It's funny
what you were saying about the first few minutes of the movie, that you establish your character, you care about her, where in the first 6 minutes, she's being attacked, and you care that it's happening.
Right. Yes.
Something that you have movies that'll spend an entire hour with the character.
It's so
don't care about him.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it goes to how I think they didn't really go into that yet at this time, but I think if they were to do the movie now, they would get more into how women are treated in the mental field and how men are. Because as an example, even with just when I got my diabetes diagnosis, my doctor listened to me and asked me what I wanted to do. Like, are you going to do the right thing to get it down, and then and we'll work with you to do it, right? That was the difference. 2 other of my close friends, they got diagnosed with diabetes, and what he told them is, it's going to be harder for you to lose weight. Their doctors, both 2 different guys, it's going to be harder for you to lose weight because you're old. Mind you, I'm a little older than they were.
Yeah.
It's a difference. There is a difference. And the way that he was talking to her, I don't think he would have talked to a man the same way.
Nope.
Well, I think it's compounded by, and one of the things that I want to go back around to from the beginning is that she is a working class single mom with probably minimal education, right?
Yes.
Because she left her home when she was 16.
Right.
He doesn't respect her as an equal, not even just because of your biological sex. He doesn't respect her because he just looks down on her as somebody beneath him.
Remember how he talked to the boyfriend, or as you can call him, boyfriend, like he would leave and come back and leave and come back. But he basically was like, I need you to be the adult in this relationship, and he's not even in the household.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. I also want to mention, so the other thing I thought they did exceptionally well. So I know there's a connection to Amityville. We'll get to it, Peter.
Oh,
you're just chomping at the bit. You're like
foaming.
I know there's a connection. That said, I will give you the floor to say it in a minute. But before we get there,
people can't hear this, or maybe they can.
My kids. When we watched Amityville, they didn't watch this with me, by the way, because I think Mom would have been a little PO'd.
Why not? Why not?
I'm even going to respond. I'm not even. I know this is a response by me reacting this way, but I'm not even going to respond to you. Why?
You're afraid they're coming into your bedroom, Dad. Someone kind of fiddled me
no.
I had my sons watch this. No problem.
Okay. Anyway, but they did watch Amityville with me, and they're beef with it, and it's fair, although in that I tried to make this argument, but I think this movie does it much better, which is, why do people not leave? Why do they stick around?
She did leave.
She did leave. So that's it. So this movie did a couple things right at the beginning. She leaves, and we're like, I was like, oh, she's smart. She's a smart person.
She's out.
But it turns out it doesn't matter.
No.
It's gonna follow
That's what makes it worse.
And again, her friend, I think, it is her friend who says, can you just leave? And she says, no, I can't afford it. She takes it.
Yes. So, yes. I thought it was done way, way better in this movie, other than The Shining, where they obviously get him stuck in a blizzard and you ain't going anywhere anyway.
Yeah, where are you going to go?
This movie does it. I may be the best that I could come up with off the top of my head, where the twist is that they were dead the whole time. You know what I mean? Because so many other movies, it's like, just leave.
Great ending. Love that ending. Great ending.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? But by and large, what I loved about this is that they established character well. The camera work, to your point, Rick, was exceptional. By the way, help me. What is that? Because I know De Palma used it. I think even Spielberg used
it.
The split diopter. Okay. Yeah. I thought it was called a diopter. I couldn't remember. Where it's like it creates that long and short lens,
and that added so much to the tension.
Oh, it's so great. It looks so cool. Yeah,
because Daryl's right. The way he speaks to her, and what you're saying, he speaks down to her. Those camera shots help in that situation.
Yeah. She's sitting there, kind of downtrodden, and he's kind of above.
Yes. Hey, Rick, that almost sounds like good directing per our earlier conversation.
Yeah, exactly. From the guy who went to do Superman 4, that says a lot. So.
Hey, look, you're not gonna have a winner every time, right? I mean, it does take more than one person to make a movie. To be fair,
he also did Ladybugs. By the way, I think I mentioned that earlier.
The Rodney Dangerfield, Jonathan Brandis movie. Oh, okay.
Peter, you say Ladybugs one more goddamn time. One more time.
Wait, no. What's sadder, that he keeps saying it, or that I immediately knew who starred in it?
I know.
I watched it too. Sadly, I'm mad at myself because I watched it myself.
It was Rodney Dangerfield. It was Rodney freaking Dangerfield.
I know, but it was Ladybugs.
It was not a good movie.
No, it's not a good movie.
So, Peter, is there a connection to the previous movie we covered on Spooky Flix Fest in this movie?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Out of spite, I should just shut up and leave.
Well, be great. No, what are you talking about? There's no connection.
No, her daughter, one of her daughters.
Yes, is the one who was the little girl from Amityville that has Jodie.
And also in Kingdom of the Spiders.
Was it wrong that when I saw her walk through the room for the first time, I was like, it's a little girl.
Yes, following her. Get rid of the kid. Exactly. So, Rick, before since we're mentioning cast here, is there anything related to specifically the story, or the direction, or the writing, or anything you wanted to touch on, so we don't lose that before we?
I would just like to go back to Barbara Hershey. Man, she is so amazing.
Oh,
in this movie.
She's so good.
Yes,
and it was something that watching it again, because I probably haven't seen it since college, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
She's just so extremely beautiful in this movie.
For sure.
She was so striking. The fact that she didn't get more work, and it's not like no one's ever heard of her by any means.
Right.
But she should have been a bigger thing.
But to go from this to Beaches, I mean, come on. Really?
I kind of have to agree with you there. I'm just like, this is how I have to watch.
Whoa.
Go down.
See,
but she is so good in this.
We're doing Beaches.
The way she handles, basically being victimized and then taking it back.
Right.
By the time you get to the ending.
Yes.
When she finally confronts
so good.
I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a little bit.
I did too, dude. Good. Oh my God.
Wait till you watch Beaches.
Oh my.
Daryl's like, fuck this, I'm gone.
No, I'm watching Beaches. I love Beaches.
No, this is my curse. I picked two awesome co-hosts that like crap like Beaches. That's my curse, Rick.
I'll fight you. I will fucking fight you.
By the way,
I get what Rick is saying, because she is even from the start, even when she is so down, she is still strong enough to. She goes back to that house, even though it follows her around, because that attack at her friend's house is man. I love that scene where she sees. I saw it, and you saw it
that
too?
By the way, that moment, Peter, that's what I literally teared. I'm not gonna lie, I got teary eyed. It got dusty because she's so convinced. She's like, nobody listens to this woman. Nobody. Why? Because let's be frank, if it was happening to anybody, even one of us. You almost, because you're not cray, as the kids say.
I don't know about that.
You would, part of you would go, no one's gonna believe me, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, until they see it for themselves. They're not gonna believe me.
They didn't, but even though she's had the bruises and places, how the hell can you bite yourself here?
People will rationalize stuff, but I want to say that moment when her friend grabs her, and that look on Barbara Hershey's face when she is like, "You saw it too." It's like it was so honest and vulnerable and heartfelt. I literally was like, "Oh my God!"
How great was it to have someone actually see it?
Right.
Yes.
You know, nowadays, you
Even
would
the
never have a
husband.
sequence where anyone witnesses it as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Even the
And
stupid
Her
husbands are.
friend, even her husband or her boyfriend, rather, see it but not want to admit to it. I thought,
Yeah.
Well, she goes.
the way that was done. You know?
It's
Yes,
like a woman. It's like how women, when they were abused, how police, you know, they had to make a rule of now if you see physical violence on the body, you have to separate them. But that wasn't like how it was before. It used to be, oh, she's just a little angry.
Sure, yeah.
You know, she's acting up. Listen, it's just a mark. She did that. It's just a mark.
Nowadays, and obviously, I know it depends jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but at least I know in my neck of the woods, if I'm going to say, if there is any, like if they go to a domestic call, and there's any accusation of either, like there's a process they're not supposed to just say, okay, go back to it, kids.
That's what I mean. They had to fight to get that done.
Sure,
there were so many cases. But what I liked about the movie is they treated it as if, you know, they could have went a weird way with the ghost thing, but they treated it as if this is someone assaulting her.
Yes.
How would you react mentally, even to the point where she was like, I'm not going to get any help. She was like, I'll just deal with it. I'll just be assaulted and deal with it just to get through it, because no one else is going to help me. And she
even after it, because you can see the look on the doctor's faces when she the bathroom attack, when she's held by two minor kids, smaller,
beings,
and raped by one bigger. You can see that they immediately goes to her kids.
But that makes sense. Son. But they're psychologists and psychiatrists. It makes total sense why they would do that. Yeah,
but it's sickening.
It is sickening, but that's what I love about this movie. Why it's so freaking good is like, yes, it is sickening. It's sickening that it assaulted her in front of her own freaking children. Right. It's also, but it adds a level. Everything is so well done. And honest to God, like one of the top things I wrote was she is literally, in my opinion, the definition of a strong, capable, smart, vulnerable, loving, three-dimensional human being, let alone woman. So like all of these movies we get now where it's got to have that super strong, capable thing. It's like, refer to this, please, because this is a character who goes through this thing called an arc. I feel like I already bought her as strong to begin with, because to do my mom, you know, there was a window there where she wasn't married, and like any woman that has to be a single mom taking care of kids.
There is a window in every woman's life where she's not married, Joel.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I meant between my dad and my stepfather, smart Alec. And so, and what I'm saying is, though, they to be able to do that and do it even remotely, like at all, it takes an inner strength to be able to keep all that together. Compounding it with what she goes through, and just that moment when she says to the doctor about how I'm just going to let this thing do what it wants because I'm not going to be controlled by this. Oh my God, dude. It was so powerful.
And imagine again how strong she is, because she is terrified of being in her own house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she still goes back. And you can see it in her eyes.
And what I also appreciated, even as a white man, I appreciated that her son wasn't portrayed as an angry Hispanic boy.
None of that. Okay. None of that. Yeah. None of that.
It was crazy, right?
Hold on. So even as a white man, Daryl, is that like
what are you saying?
No. Even as a white man, the son.
What are you trying to say?
He was referring
I'm just saying,
to
as someone who is pastier than you, I'm also happy that they didn't, because none of it was stereotypes, right? Even the doctor, even the doctors, even the ghost hunters, none of these people were portrayed as stereotypes. It was wonderful.
No, this was her son. Like, but they could have went away of he's like some sub story of he's running with a bad crowd.
Yeah, none of that crap. That fake melodrama.
Yeah, you get the idea he's into like maybe some teenage hijinks. You know, at the beginning, have that great dialogue when she talks to him in the garage. You know. Yeah, you know, dishes haven't been done. This hasn't been. And
he's a kid. He's a kid.
Yeah, it's so cute the way they write
it.
He's
a teenage. He's a teenage boy.
It's like,
he's a teenage boy.
But I took it. See, honestly, Rick, I took that as not that he was in any hygiene. I think this kid loves cars. No, I think he's got a thing he loves, which is cars.
Right.
I think. Yeah. He's like, he wants to spend. Look, we've all been there. You get that complete tunnel vision of that thing you love, and everything else takes a back seat. And that's what I took it as.
He took after his father, because I think we get from he died driving too fast.
Yeah.
I think he was also into cars. You kind of get a well-rounded family dynamic.
Yeah.
And again, in that one little scene.
Yeah.
One scene, one moment.
That's all you need to know that they're a tight mother and son.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, and that they don't have any major issues going on.
No.
Right.
It's one because you don't need that fake melodrama BS when you write a good movie with well thought out characters whose motivations are driving the story.
Because if I had wrote it, I'd have wrote it that she would have grabbed him and been like, "Don't hurt my boy. Keep him out of the streets."
Wow.
Satan, you will not get my child. Stay away from the drugs.
Pinky dog kind of thing.
And then a little girl, his sister would have walked by and she'd have said, "Message." And then it would have been, that would have been my movie.
See, if they were that blatant about it, there's a part of me that would have respect, and I would actually love it. And they just a kid walks by the camera, and goes, "Message." That would have been
Hollywood
amazing.
Shuffle, by the way?
What was that? What was that, Rick?
Hollywood Shuffle? Have you guys discussed that?
Oh, we have never.
I don't think we did.
No, we talked about covering it for you. I'd love to cover it.
Or the other one too.
I don't have the list.
Drinking your juice in the hood.
Oh, don't be a menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Because that also goes. We could do both of those.
Yeah, they go. Message.
Now, you know what's kind of interesting? I don't know if you guys thought about this while watching it. This movie came out some 3 months after Poltergeist.
Wow, I did not
realize that. Which means both of these were in production roughly around the same time.
Yes.
Wow.
It's just kind of interesting. It makes me wonder. It's like, did the other studio know, hey, someone else is making a picture about a family?
It is based, and I'm doing quote fingers here, it's based on a true story.
Yeah, my wife did research on it after. It's very loosely based.
Yes, very.
In many respects, the true story is even rougher because the mother that she's based upon was homeless. They were actually squatting in the house.
Yep.
That's right. Wow. I think I read that. I did read that. Yeah.
He passed away. I think it's in the late 90s. Yeah. And with a lot of alcoholism and everything in the family too. So it was
well, and if you think about it, and honestly, I don't want them to remake this movie because I think it's perfect just the way it is. No. But if they were going to, I think it would be more interesting to go that route because then you've got that extra level of a single homeless mom who's squatting, who's trying to keep her kids, literally talking about not being able to keep your head above water. No one's listening to her. No one is listening to her under any circumstances because of her life circumstance. And that would be I feel like now, I get your point, Daryl, what you're saying, there still is that definite issue at hand, but I almost feel like now if they did it with the mom and everything being equal like it is in the movie, it would come across again message. You know what I mean? It would have that. It would. I think but you could address like this whole especially if it's homelessness. First off, it's always been an issue, but it's definitely it's been a bigger issue in the news and everything else. It's gotten way worse. Housing is next to impossible for regular folks to afford, et cetera, et cetera. There's actual social commentary you could weave into your story without it being message.
That's the whole thing, social commentary. If you take it like when Romero did social commentary, or when here, it's below the surface. It's
great, and it's wonderful.
Scenes should work. They should be below the surface,
and it adds a level.
Top,
Yes, exactly.
And in front of you.
Exactly, you're 100% right.
The movie and go, oh, hey, you know what? That kind of speaks true, this and that.
Yes. Well, it adds a layer to it, like you're saying, that then if nerds like us want to go into all of it, you know what it is? Here's why modern filmmakers screw the audience even worse than by making us sit through the shit that they create. And I don't mean everybody. I want to make sure I'm clear on that. I mean every little thing, but I mean a lot of it. When you're to that point about things being on the surface, it takes away that opportunity for us to discover it. When you tell me, you're not telling me, giving me hints and ideas and giving me opportunity to figure it out myself. You're telling me what to think. That is a far cry from hey, I can just take this as a ghost story. It's creepy. It's upsetting. Or if I choose, I could go down this other layer about, like, I think I read several things about how a lot of people have pointed out this is a very strongly feminist film, which I totally see. I mean, but again, it's not in that like ding, 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 ding on the nose.
Then
obvious.
You'll be happy to know that apparently nothing happened to, because in 2015 they were talking about, James Wan apparently was talking about producing a remake, but
I saw that.
2023 and nothing has happened, so happily.
It's interesting that you bring up James Wan, though, because when you look at this, when you look at The Conjuring and Insidious, things of that nature, I don't think you have those movies without the entity, without
No. I think you're right.
Yeah. To the point where they decided to say, "Hey, let's get Barbara Hershey to play Josh's mom in Insidious."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm over the whole "you couldn't make it today" bullshit. I think you could. You'd have to have balls. You'd have to have balls to make this movie and make it in an honest, sincere way, like this movie is. Like, I feel like
they would make it today, but like you said, they would go ahead and they would, like, for example, the sequence when we see her at work learning how to become a receptionist. Our school, night school for being a receptionist, it would turn into her at work being accosted by a couple guys, or hey, you're not doing your job right. You got to do it. Just so many things would happen. Like, we get it. She's having a rough life.
Yeah.
Just show it to us normally. You know?
As opposed to, because the problem with that approach too is, like, if they show it as they do in this film, where her life is rough, but she doesn't see it that way. Like her, I don't get this victim mentality from her at all. Even when she's being victimized, like, she's a person who understands where she is in life. She's trying to improve things. She's trying to make it better. Her focus is her children, which is what the vast majority of parents is like. That's the mentality, right? Like, I want to do this for my kids.
See, I think that was one of the things that called out to me when I saw it younger. It was a station of life I could identify with, because my father wasn't around. My mom, was a single mom working 2 jobs and everything. So I could see her and my mom, and vice versa. So you don't get that point of view quite a bit. To speak what you were saying earlier about social classism in this between the doctors and her.
Yes.
That is a point of view we don't get to see much in horror films at all. It's usually very.
We used to see it all the time. We used to see it all the time.
People.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Rick, would you agree with that? Like, this kind of character was like almost the prevalent, like not just a mom, but like the working family, middle class.
Absolutely.
Family. It's like we have so gotten far away. And so honestly, the other problem was not only would you be seeing Daryl, were you the one that made the comment? No, it was Rick. You made the comment about she'd be at work and they'd be harassing her and all that kind of stuff, right? I think on top of it, she would be at a different social strata. Like, I don't think they would do she would probably be this woman who's like got it all figured out seemingly, and she's able, she's working really hard. Maybe she's like at a lower level executive. I feel like it would be a totally different situation. She'd be like more upper middle class arena. She'd be educated. All of that would be taken out. Like, I feel, because they'd want it to be like, we're making it for a modern audience. You see, it's like, well, that's great, except that the rest of everybody else in the world, the other 99,
hang on,
the other 99% of us would like something relatable, please. That would be nice.
That's what it was.
Look at James Wan and say, did you like the original movie? Because you guys made it.
Exactly. Because she's living paycheck to paycheck. That's her life, and
that's relatable.
And she's still happy about it because she has a good life.
Guess what, Daryl? At one point in my life, I too lived paycheck to paycheck.
Before you got rich over there.
I am not rich.
Okay, fine.
This is the guy with the man cave video store, but
and the houses.
Okay, that was a gift. And all of you, except for Daryl, because he decided to go minimalist, own a bunch of stuff.
I don't.
All I did is just put it in my garage. Which, by the way, if I was so freaking rich, I'd have air conditioning out here because it's like 85 degrees, and I'm still putting up with this nonsense.
Me saying that I
don't do that anymore.
So me saying that I'd like to have it like Rick, where you have all of the stuff visible. I have so many movies, I can't do that because there's no room.
Oh, look! Bad? Oh, Peter's got so many movies, he can't show them all on his camera.
Do you at least keep them in their case though? Or are you the guy
no
room?
He is a total.
I wasn't allowed.
He is a cultural communist. He does not. I don't even know what that means.
I'm not sure either.
I know it sounded funny. He puts his stuff in boxes and tries to keep it organized. Rick, what is that? What is that? Some of us like to display physical media.
Yeah, see, my wife's the same way though. She gets upset. She goes, you don't need to see everything." I'm like, "Sure you do."
Yeah. Which, by the way, is why I'm out in the garage.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
This is the closest I can have to a man cave in my own home. But anyway, I digress. So I actually am I'm not shocked actually that we've gone this down deep into.
You mean
I need to stop saying things like that.
I know
that we've gone down this analytical into this film. Let me see. I do want to talk about some of cast and crew we mentioned. Let's see here, sharing the screen. Let me go back up. So we had, as we mentioned, Sidney J. Furie. I knew it was funny when the movie started. I recognized the name, but I was like, "Why do I know it?" And I thought, Iron Eagle. And I waited until it was over. I looked up. I was like, "Yes, Iron Eagle."
The director, Sidney J.
Yes.
Furie?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Frank D. Falletta, maybe. The writer, I want to give him a shout out because I thought this was a very well written movie as well. I thought it was very well written.
For a guy who's a novelist to direct, or to be that directly involved with the film, rather, to write the book that it's based upon and then adapt it, and still be able to capture the essence of what he put into the book. Even to know, I think in the book it is written that she is homeless, squatting in the house. That's pretty interesting that he was able to, see it from a different point of view. It's like, well, how can it work in a film to where the studio is more comfortable or to where people can, again, relate to it better?
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy that they also got rid of kind of like a side story where they actually went into kind of like an incestuous thing between her and her son.
They did?
It was from the start. It was there. It was hinted at, but
you know what?
Because there was a point where in the beginning of the movie where the way she touched his face. We're going down a certain way.
Yeah.
There was, and then it was gone like that.
Yeah.
That was.
Well,
gone.
I'm glad.
A remnant.
I'm glad it was gone because the fact is that is as bad as when you find out. Spoiler alert for the original novel of Jaws, but you find out about Chief Brody's wife and Hooper doing the nasty. You're like, really? I don't want that. That ruins everything. That ruins the dynamic.
I don't think that ruined anything for me. But I do think that if you're molesting your child, that kind
of course, yes,
of course, that would make it harder for the audience to.
Well, yeah, it would have been. No, I don't think that was a non. That's a non-starter.
That's putting too much into a movie to do that.
Yes.
Like that's
I am glad that I'm glad the doctor went there because that makes. I believe he would go there.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
100%. So other than this and Beaches, what else has Barbara Hershey been in that I know of? As I was trying to remember.
Nothing else as important as Beaches. I don't know why you're even asking that question.
The right stuff.
Which is amazing.
What? Oh, Rick, what was that? I didn't hear what you said.
Boxcar Bertha.
Oh, God, yes, the Scorsese film. Yes.
Falling down.
Thank you. You're right. Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
The Right Stuff.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I know. Made it through.
And the fantastic movie Take This Job and Shove It. Anyone seen that?
Is that Chris? Is Chris Christopherson in that, or is it somebody else? Something.
Listen, I don't remember watching this other than in my youth. So I don't remember.
What's a youth?
Oh wow! Call back. She is in this. This is when you think of Barbara Hershey. I think this is where you kind of this, and for me and Daryl, Beaches too. But this is
because she knows she can play very vulnerable, but not someone who's weak at the same time. If that makes sense.
Which she does in this.
Can I spoil Beaches and say what happens to her at the end? Because I remember that.
We all do, Joel.
Motherfucker.
That's when we break down and cry.
We should do a double. Wait. I won't spoil it, but I will say let's do a double feature with that and Dying Young.
That's why you're in the garage, you son of a bitch.
Yes. The great Rod Silver, who, much like, I feel like it said he's like a Michael Douglas. Like he was very good at playing characters that have a lot of douchebaggery going on.
Oh,
but
for
yet,
sure.
But yet they're so engaging.
Man. Blue Steel, he's a killer.
Yes,
we covered that, Joel.
We on Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah,
he does a Michael. But there is a certain charm to Michael Douglas. I don't think he has.
Yeah, I couldn't picture him playing what's his nuts in Romancing the Stone, where you know what I mean, where he was like that,
right?
You know, because I feel like Michael Douglas could still pull that off. Right. I don't think Ron Silver could have pulled that off.
He was a douche in Time Cop that we covered not that long ago.
Oh yeah, yes.
Silent Rage we also covered, and Ron Silver was also in what is it called, Silkwood, that we're covering later.
I can't wait.
You remember a TV movie he did called Life Pod? It was basically a remake of Hitchcock's.
Yes,
I think. What is it when they're on the boat?
Lifeboat.
Yeah, it was like that, but it was on a spaceship.
Gotcha.
You know what?
I think I do remember that.
I think I've seen that one.
I've never even heard of it. That's cool. All right.
He was a douche in that too.
He plays a good douche.
Can't believe he does. He plays a good douche. He does.
And the way to go back to Ron Silver, when he's talking to her, and the way he kind of he kind of bites his lips, and it kind of really, it's just, I don't know. It's so, he's really good.
His contempt for anybody questioning his authority is palpable.
Yes,
that's exactly
contempt.
What it is.
That's what that's.
Yes, it's contempt.
He was a douche, but what a great beard. When I was a kid, I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to have a beard.
I want a Ron Silver beard.
He's got great beard. That's for sure.
Great beard.
I'd actually forgotten that he passed away in 2009.
I always forget until we cover something with him. I'm like, oh, that's right, he passed away.
Damn, I forgot just now. I forgot up until now when you said it.
Because he was young. He was like, what, 60? Wasn't he pretty young when it happened?
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah, 61, I think it was.
Yeah. So David Labiosa, who plays her son, Billy, I thought he was, it's one of those parts where obviously it's not a focal point of the movie, but I thought for what he had to do, for the fact that he added.
Listen, sadly, he has played gang member 23 so many times before he was able to get better roles. That when I first saw him, I thought the first thing I thought was,
"Oh boy,
he can't be her son."
Gang member 32.
I didn't even put together that was her son yet. Like it didn't click with me yet because I saw him in so many other things where he's always got stuck with the same like hard kid who turns nice, like he's got a heart of gold.
Stereotypes.
He's always had the stereotypes. So it was nice to see him.
I loved him in this though.
Play a loving son.
You know what? The scene I liked with him is when Ron Silver tried to go in and get him on his side.
Yeah.
No, I believe my mom.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah. What do you call him? The liar? Yeah.
Yeah. He said next time. Don't I was like, what do you mean next? He was there. He got electricity in him and broke his wrist.
He broke his own wrist. Like he was like, "You're trying to say I broke my own wrist?"
It's
like, wow,
again masturbation.
My wife said he got emperored.
He got emperored. That's a good one. I didn't think about that. I will say this, and we'll have to at some point touch on the effects, obviously, but. Even those kind of effects, which obviously were the era, that's what they could accomplish without, the use of computers. I thought it was effective. Like I thought it was subtle, but it works. It wasn't overdone.
Looked great until that ice mound at the end when they
that
was the only part.
Yeah. That was very. If you remember Watcher in the Woods, you remember that movie where there was I love that movie, and then like at the very end, you're like, wow, you guys really threw that. That thing at the end together.
A smidge too far.
Quick verge. Don't you love the whole finale concept? The idea that we rebuild the house?
Yeah.
How do we control the environment?
I
thought that was really wild.
And they're so happy they did when they're walking around. Okay, doesn't this look great? And when they're kind of talking amongst themselves, and she's kind of just trailing behind them, and we're really proud of this
because it's all about them.
It's all about it's an experiment for them.
They honestly, on some level, are because they're obviously of the same class dynamic as the Ron Silver character, right?
Sure.
So to them, she is this experiment that is, and they're a little bit more reasonable with her than he is, but that's only because it's like confirmation bias. They already agree with this.
It's because their science is a little bit is not as respected, so they really need this.
Yes.
In order to do that.
I mean, she for her, it's kind of a fight for her life and sanity, and for her,
it ain't even kind of. It is like this
for them. It's just an experiment.
Yeah, this is her freaking life. Like these two people, these two groups are fighting about bullshit shit about getting who should be her handler or whatever. And she's like, hello, I'm over here trying to survive this experience with my kids, and I got kids and shit, and y'all two are just going through nonsense and bullshit. So yeah, you see it in the way she acts, because she didn't even hate him when he tried to pull her out forcibly. Like he was like, she even yelled at them, "Don't hurt him. I don't want to see him hurt." Like, no, I don't want to go with him, but I don't want to see him hurt.
Yes.
Like she cared enough, even though
which makes everything. I was gonna say, which makes the whole everything even another level of worse, because she's such a decent, kind-hearted person that even in that, like, she's please, I don't want any violence. I'm totally against all that.
Which even made the entity even more scary, because it like the entity appeared in the movie. It appeared it hated her even more because she was so kind.
Because you're so what do I know George Coe from? I'm sure you'll say it, and then I'll be like, duh.
Kramer versus Kramer.
I have seen it, but it's been forever.
He's been in a ton of stuff.
Wives. Remo Williams. You don't like that one?
I didn't hate it, but I don't like
The First Deadly Sin is with Frank Sinatra, which is
what was that, Rick?
You didn't like Remo Williams.
I know.
No,
I remember we covered it. Look,
you and Jason covered it way back.
And there have been moments where it's so funny because I forget what I even said in any of those episodes. So years go by, and I'll just remember the movie. Like, oh yeah, I like Remo Williams.
You didn't have to talk about his mother like that. I didn't like how you did that.
Talked about Remo's mother.
Yeah, I didn't like how you did that.
Yeah,
that was very hurtful.
I just feel like there's something specific I know him from, and I just can't.
Well, let's
he was
see.
such a character actor.
He's been in so much. Like,
kind of like Dr. Cooley. I'm pretty sure I've seen her in different TV shows and whatnot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Joel didn't watch Dallas. He was in that one.
Nope.
L.A. Law. Did you watch that?
He ain't good enough to watch that.
No. Why would I have in junior high? Or going into high school, why would I watch freaking LA Law?
He was too busy jerking off to Exorcist and stuff. He wasn't watching that.
Because that's what one does when one watches The Exorcist.
Well, he was in the Stepford Wives.
I saw it years ago, though, dude. That's not.
But you remember his face, but you can't kind of pinpoint where.
But oftentimes
he was in Roots. No, he wasn't.
Oh, that's it.
No, he wasn't.
See, he just went with it.
I'm just kidding. Does he play one of the slaves?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
He played Kunta's uncle.
Uncle George.
Kunta
Co. All right. And then they went to the Reading Rainbow, and it was beautiful.
Wait, hang on. Do you want to? I'm just going to mention, because David Labiosa. Just go back to down memory lane and mention a couple of shows that you probably remember him from. Renegade.
I remember Renegade. Lorenzo Lamas. Yeah.
All that hair.
Texas Walker Texas Ranger.
I never watched an episode of that.
I know. That's why I'm mentioning it. Hang on, T.J. Hooker.
I remember watching it occasionally. Yeah, but not.
Hang on. Who remembers Hunter?
I remember Hunter.
Oh no! Wait for it. That I watched.
Wow.
I remember watching Sopranos. Not all of it, but I remember watching that actually way more than the other shows you mentioned.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
that weird.
How long did you watch it? You watch it when she left?
I think I did. I remember it was one of those shows that always was on, like when I go to like my grandma or someone else's grandma's house.
When she went and had a baby and she left.
That with the black-haired lady, right? The dark-haired lady. Yeah.
And then she came back. She came back later to finish it out.
Good.
Vaguely remember that. Yeah.
What?
I'm so sad. I remember continuity.
I know.
Yeah, that is that. It's sad, but yet that is one of the many reasons why I respect you, Daryl.
Useless information. That's what I do.
That's it. So let's see here. Who else do we want to mention? We mentioned Dr. Cooley, played by Jacqueline Brooks.
Right.
Again, familiar, but not jumping out at me.
I mean, she's been in a ton of stuff, but minor parts, I think.
Yeah, Spice Girls.
Margaret Bly, Cindy Nash, her friend was in Mischief, that you we covered and you liked.
Oh, with Kelly Preston.
Yep.
Yeah, I bet you did remember that movie.
That's the main reason why that movie was memorable.
You motherfucker.
No, it wasn't. You liked it. Everybody can go back and listen to the Mischief.
Oh no, I liked it. I liked Mischief.
Yep.
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
The Natasha Ryan, she played Julie. She was the one from Amityville.
And you can see the photo she's in on IMDb is from Kingdom of the Spiders, because you can see all the tarantulas sitting around her on the bed.
No, I can't. Thankfully,
yes, you can.
I don't want to see it. No.
You want me to send you a picture?
Oh, no.
Daryl, I'm trying to. This is as far as it'll enlarge. Hold on, I'm trying to see. If
I don't want to see it.
No, that's it.
You motherfuckers! I don't want to
click on it. Oh, there we go.
I'm not looking at it.
Oh, look.
I'm not.
Okay, I turned it off. I turned it off.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you did.
Spiders too.
I know you.
Okay. Well, we're gonna keep moving on. But I will say, my one criticism of this movie is
not enough white people. Not enough white people.
That was part of it. And the fact that the two daughters, the other daughter, I don't even remember what she was almost not necessary. They could have just done. They could have just had one kid beyond the son. I think they never need more than just the son, and having a younger child that's vulnerable and in danger. But I don't know that you needed two kids. I mean, I guess to show how much she's got going on, I get why they would do it, but it just felt like her character was completely not memorable to me at all.
I'm just going to mention for the listeners here that don't see this, Joel is purposely holding onto the photo with the little girl with spiders.
Daryl, I turned it off. He's lying.
I know you still got it on there.
Okay.
Listen. I will fucking hunt you down.
Okay. All right. Well, if I still have it on, then I can't keep moving through the list, which I am doing now. Let's see. We got Alan Rich, Dr. Walcott. I recognize him. Alex Rocco.
Godfather, right?
God, what was it? Sad, Rick. My knee-jerk reaction goes, Lady in White.
Was he the dad in that?
He was the dad. Yes. Yep.
Who? Alex Rocco?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he was a dad in Lady in White.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Good actor. Yeah.
And Rick, you mentioned earlier. Say what you said about his character and his reaction once he finally sees what he sees.
Joel, you're a jerk.
Yeah, it was funny because my wife and I talked about that scene, and it's like it's a very, to me, a realistic reaction. It didn't turn into a situation where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to fight this thing off." I think just the way when he sees this happening to her, he just kind of crumbles.
Yeah, it was a very real human reaction. Is what it was.
Yeah.
Because how would you react? I mean, you walk into the woman you love and you're going to marry her, and you see her being raped in front of you, but you can't see by whom.
I know one thing: you don't hit her with a chair.
Well, that's the.
Well, he was trying to hit the entity, Rick.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
That ain't how you do it, buddy.
I know Billy didn't think so either.
No.
But, and also they were able to tap into something that, though I haven't experienced, I've read this is a common feeling of men who feel powerless themselves, that they're unable to stop their significant other from being attacked and raped.
Oh,
he elicits that same response to the point where he just shuts down.
Oh, for sure.
And it's pretty horrible. He says he was going to marry her, and it's like, well, you can still marry her. Don't give up or don't walk away. But
no, they don't want her anymore. That's the part. Yeah, that's the part of it.
But it would be very easy to be judgy on him for that. Yeah. But you could also understand under the circumstances, and that there's a psychological thing that can happen to people, and everybody's going to react differently. It's easy to say, I wouldn't do that. I'd be the strong person. You don't know what you do. No. You don't know what you do.
Again, Joel, it's as if the writer actually wrote, oh my God, a complex human culture.
What?
Wow.
What a novel idea. Yeah. I say that a lot. Stan Winston.
And how would people, I mean, this situation that she's going through is not run of the mills being attacked. So how can people say, "Oh, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that"? How the fuck would you know how you would react to seeing your wife to be violently, and the way? And again, this is also where she's looking at him and just say, "Help me, help me." It is just, I get goosebumps. It's so. It's
this is also why it's great writing, because at the end of the day, like what you just said, how do you know what you do? This isn't you, right? Nope. Now you could say, would I in that circumstance, and like when somebody writes a character that does something that seems completely unreasonable, but the key is it real and reasonable for that character? When you consider their backstory, who they are, the dynamics at play in their relationships, when you consider all of that stuff, is it reasonable that Jerry reacts the way he does? Yes, it is. Yeah. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's a reasonable or unreasonable thing.
Well, he really wasn't that committed. He really wasn't that committed.
No, he wasn't.
Anyway.
No, he wasn't. No.
She was
good.
She's like, the romance was basically, his romance was, no more one night stands, baby. I'm gonna stay. Like, that's not exactly committed.
I want it on the regular.
You know, they never say this, but I always kind of got just a little inkling that maybe she was a side thing for him. That maybe he was in a committed relationship.
Now that you mention it,
Yep. Oh, I can totally see that. Yep. I agree with you.
And I also like, again, with the scene before, where they're drinking wine and the way that she reacts, because it's like she almost knows how he will react to it, so she doesn't want to say anything like at all. And then he says, and she says, I was attacked, I was raped, and he says, oh man, I'm gonna, and then she says, well, I don't really know by whom, and was I? And she's, oh no, you weren't, you almost got me there, you weren't raped. And it's like, that scene is uncomfortable to watch,
sure,
but it's so good because human reaction, human emotion.
But Peter, it sets up how he ends up reacting when he actually sees it's happening.
Because she's so tired of having this conversation with another dude that won't understand that she's like, why bother? Like, it makes no sense to even try.
Yeah, well, like her reaction too with the two ghost hunters, because I don't remember their names offhand. When they see when they see it for the first time too, like she reacts very similar to how she reacted to her friends. Like, anybody that can see what the hell is going on for her, she's like and I mean, it totally makes sense. Like, you would be utterly relieved that you weren't crazy, B everybody else would stop thinking you are. C, there's actual evidence of what you're saying. Now, granted, it's unfortunately evidence you can't show to anybody else because they have to be there to witness it. I did want to mention before we start tidying things up here, the effects, Stan Winston. I thought I had seen, I think, what's that, Into the Darkness? Isn't that the series that was on Shudder? I know they did like the fundraiser for the Kickstarter, right? Isn't that what it's called, Into the Darkness? They did like the 3 documentaries about horror in the 80s.
Search for Darkness, wasn't it?
Was it Search?
No, that was Search for Tomorrow. Sorry, Into the Darkness. Yeah, exactly.
It was something like that. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have it in front of me. But in that one, they talked about they talked about the entity, and they showed that scene. So I knew going in that scene was there. And it's one of those, because it's obviously very much the Kevin Bacon, Tom Savini, Friday 1 effect, where you've got the false body and the head up through. They probably could have done a little bit better to like make it look, because I thought when the scene was when she was asleep and he was touching her from
her head,
that was flawless. That was flawless.
Oh yeah.
But even though it was a little bit of a giveaway, it still was a hell of an effect, dude. That was tremendous. Like, it's disturbing, it's upsetting, it looked very realistic. It sets up wonderfully the whole Alex Rocco character coming in and seeing what he sees. I thought that was great. And this is obviously fairly early for Stan Winston, and his work, but yeah, man, it was. Any thoughts, Rick, about the effects or anything?
Oh yeah, in fact, you mentioned the very thing I was going to, which was, it was remarkable how the first time they used that effect, like you said, it was flawless. But then the second time, it was, I don't know if it was the camera angle or if her head just wasn't up high enough. It's unfortunate that they couldn't have gotten that as good as the earlier sequence.
Yeah, because legitimately, I would say that first time that happens, I was thinking, how were they, like, for a minute there, I was like, I knew how they did it logically because I know how that effect's done. But I was like, how the hell are they? That looks real, dude. Like, that looks like her body.
Can you imagine 1982 people watching it?
Oh my God. I bet they were like, even the full body, well, to be fair, Peter, we all expected you saw it opening weekend.
Well, no,
you got off of work at the mill. Yeah, he said.
I did actually work at a paper mill in my youth.
Yeah. Well, See, there you go. I think you've told me that before.
Yeah,
that's where I got it from. Anyway, the point is that I just thought it was stellar. I thought even other than, to your point, the giant ice blob thing at the end, which is kind of like meh.
Yeah, they kind of took it a bit too far at the end there, but yeah.
And then
what I always wondered is, why did it have to be literally
a thing that
turning it into ice? If you will,
I don't know.
Why not just some way of having mist or whatever and see just like the illusion of a face or something? You know, why didn't it have to be that? You know?
Yeah, because it's not like, because then I want to get to this at the very end of the movie, we get the text on screen that tells us this continued to go on. So they didn't stop it. So you didn't need to have that scene where it's like they contained it, they stopped it. There was none of you know what I mean? Like they didn't need to do that. Now the one thing I was a little confused by, the house she went at the end, that was the house that all had been happening in, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
They were moving. So they were moving out, right?
Yeah, right.
And so and I'll say that could have been cheesy, what happens where the voice comes on, but it was super creepy, dude.
Oh,
especially
it was.
Welcome home, cunt.
That was horrible. Like, that's the thing, is that what I also got to give her props for is this thing is a demon.
Mm-hmm.
Demons aren't, I know it's going to shock people, are not going to be politically correct. Demons are going to attack you in front of your own children. Demons are going to call you really ugly names and not care. And I love that it just goes there and it's dude.
It's
the
violent.
scary.
It's violent.
Well, the scary part is it's like, I don't give a fuck that people saw me doing bad things to you.
Not at all.
You still can't stop me. Like, that's the scary thing.
Which is like terrifying.
We never get, usually in horror movies, you get to the point where if you can prove it, we can fix it.
Done.
Right?
Yeah, it's done. Yeah.
That's not the case here. It's like,
no.
It's like, if it bleeds, we can kill it. That's the
it's like, I got you, son of a bitch. And it's like, and what? And I'll do that shit again. And it's like, oh shit, what are we going to do now?
I'm still hard. So
what are we going to do now to stop this thing?
And I get the impression that maybe the whole cheesy ice block looking like, destroy all monsters all of a sudden or something. I keep thinking maybe that was studio interference before it became a thing. Just like the Poltergeist movie that came out a few months ago had huge effects. What can we do? And
you might be right.
It feels very like that. It definitely
because this story never ends, right?
No.
Well, it kind of did in the late 90s. It ended in
before they
when
did
she passed away.
Okay, right, but I mean, for this movie, she's still alive when they were making it. So that was the thing. There was no crescendo at the end to kind of like put a period on this story. Like,
but you, I was a little kid watching it. You know, I'm sitting there in the dark.
Oh
the attacks continue to this day, and I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then honestly, because that moment where she goes in the house, it says that to her, and then but there's a sense of real strength. Yeah, she's just but it's like it's earned. It's so earned, and
but you still have that when she reaches for the door.
Yeah,
and you still have that tension, and you sit there, even though you've seen this fucking movie over and over. It's like, okay, will she get out of the house? Because there's that tension, and then she opens it, and bright lights hits her, and the music changes, and So, can we talk about the music and the use of music in this movie? Because
Rick, you brought it up. What else did he do?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's
Cujo.
right.
Yeah, you've done a lot of good work.
Yeah.
And and it's not that I dislike. Obviously, I don't dislike the movie, but I told my wife, I said, this score is even better than the film itself. Like it almost should have been in a different movie. Not to say anything bad about the entity.
No.
It's that strong of a score.
We just took it all up to another level. Like it just took it of quality. It just
yeah.
To the point where they used it in the trailer, which movies didn't do that usually back in the day.
No.
So.
There's actually there's nothing really funny in this movie, laugh out loud moments or anything.
Well, I laughed all the time.
Except one scene where when these two guys, when she meets them at the bookstore, she has them in the house and she's telling them this and this, and they kind of don't believe her until they walk past the mirror and this happens. People can't see it, but it's shaking. Right. And they immediately in front of the mirror and then, wow. That kind of made me chuckle.
Yeah,
even the first time I watched it.
But those that are just listening and haven't seen this movie, that's the level of comedy
Yeah, no, because there's no comedy in this movie whatsoever.
No.
There's no.
But you know what? But here's the thing, and it's obviously very serious subject matter.
Yeah.
But I will say that but here's another example where it's very serious. There's no comedy per se, but it doesn't feel. It's not self-serious, if that makes sense. It doesn't. I'm not saying they're ever like downplaying what's happening, but it's like they're just telling a great story. The thing is playing. It's drama. It's drama focused. It's not comedically focused at all. But it could have very easily just become very self-serious, taking itself way too seriously. Yeah. And I feel like it never did that either. If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great movie, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Great movie. So, Rick,
I'm just glad everyone liked it because I was waiting for it.
A Night Riders Part 2. All right. So Rick, I will throw it to you then. Does the movie still hold up for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, probably more so than ever, actually.
Yeah.
Again, the thing we were talking about earlier, the whole idea of watching something and having time to live with it, and you have different life experiences. I go and I look at it now, and you can see it being a feminist film. You can see how it inspired other movies later.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Daryl, not does it hold up for you? I assume you enjoyed it on your first viewing. I mean, in the sense of like enjoyed it for what it was and it being a great movie, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I heard that the ghost is getting out of jail in a couple of weeks or something like that. All right.
DNA came in and they found out that he was not the original. Okay.
You know how it goes.
Lawyers.
Yeah.
They tested the ectoplasm, wasn't it?
Yeah, the ectoplasm. Yeah.
You know it. No, I mean it holds up. I mean, for a movie this old, it's pretty well done. No, I'm just saying it's pretty well done. It's pretty strong in terms of directing and acting and stuff for a movie this old, because you can't even get it in streaming.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You can't even find it. No.
Yet another piece of the puzzle for physical media can never die. Anyway, but I want to address one thing with you, Daryl, specifically, because when we covered Savage Streets, there you go. So Rick's representing. I don't have it. I'm gonna buy it.
I have it.
Well,
surprise.
Hold on. Duh.
Yeah, exactly.
I should learn to never say anything.
Yeah, it really. Daryl. So Savage Streets. When we covered that, with Brandon Windish, we both talked about the fact that subgenre, the rape revenge subgenre,
right?
That we are not particular fans of that subgenre.
Right.
I mean, this stuff, but what I don't know about you, but that honestly was one of the things going into this movie. I was like, but I think weirdly that doesn't. I mean, obviously the revenge part would be erased because it's not that. But yes, what happens to her is horrible. It's assault. It's this, that, the other thing. But it felt different than a lot of those other movies. You know what I mean? Like what we talked about. It lacked that. Let's say the sleaze factor.
Well, they gave her a three-dimensional kind of personality. Like you got a whole sense of her as a person, and that doesn't happen often in those revenge flicks, those rape revenge flicks.
Get a pretty face, a pretty body, and then
right,
or knives or whatever
whatever it is. More even when they get revenge, they're still the hot piece of woman who's got revenge. Like it's not like you get to learn who she is as a person and how she deals with the adversity that she has to deal with. Like you get that in this movie.
I just feel like anybody that feels that way about that, like subgenres like that, this movie doesn't. I mean, in my opinion, lost my microphone. It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. Like to me, it didn't. And I didn't feel that at all with this movie. No. It's uncomfortable and it's disturbing.
Yes,
of course it should be, and it's handled exceptionally well. Like I
think it is.
Yeah, exceptionally well. All right, so Peter, we know you own it.
Yeah.
But does this movie still hold up for you, Peter?
Yeah. Do you own it though?
Well,
I hate
really
it. I
own anything.
Yeah, that'd be great if you said, "I hate this movie."
Well, I do have those movies that I own, but I don't like. But no, I've watched this several times, so why even ask? I mean, who put this in the mix?
You.
Yes.
And I'm glad, by the way.
Are you happy I did?
This originally was not the movie we were going to cover for the 5, right? This one ended up, and I said, I have seen all the other movies we were going to cover. This is the only one I hadn't seen. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it because I never saw it. Let's do it. And I'm very, 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 very happy we did, Peter. So
yeah, because
thank you.
And it like Rick said, you kind of watch it with different eyes every time, because you go through stages in life and you get older and hopefully wiser, but you see different layers from. Well, we know. I was trying to make us look better, Darryl.
No, we're not. We're not.
Okay.
No.
Well, we're older.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's for sure.
So there's different layers to every time you watch it, and you kind of read into, you see different aspects. Like when you watched this the first time, you thought immediately, psychiatrists, idiots, stupid fucks, get the hell out of there. What the hell are you trying to do? Now you can kind of see they're still idiots and get the fuck out of there. But
Peter, hold on 1 second. I'm not, and I know what Daryl's going to do. Seriously, are those? Have I seen like a boot or something on that thing behind you? Is that stairs?
Which one?
Right behind Daryl's head. I swear to God, Daryl.
Yes.
I think I see like a boot, like somebody standing up on your stairs, dude.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm being serious, man.
No, there's no one staring. There's no ghost behind me.
Peter, do you not see that?
There's a blanket that's hanging.
I was hoping to freak you out and make you look.
No.
I can't even fathom that he's sitting with stairs behind him.
I know. I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm gonna tell him there's somebody standing right behind him.
You can't get me. Listen, my mother died in this house. She's not gonna let no shit go down like that.
All right,
well, there is that. You're safe.
Come on.
All right, listen, fair enough.
Stairs having that. I'll tell it here. I think I told it to Jay on Horror Movie Podcast way back. Let's see, how many apartments ago was this? It's way back. We lived in 2 stories. I was sitting in the living room, and this was when I was watching a bunch of J horror, which still freaks me the fuck out. I can't do that.
Oh.
And we're getting to that later on in this Spooky Flix Fest.
We're doing the ring, Daryl. We're doing the ring.
No.
And I'm sitting there with my back to the wall, but we have kind of like to this side is where the stairs are behind. And I was sitting down there. I was probably half asleep because I do tend to fall asleep when I'm watching anything. And my wife came down to see if I was asleep or not. But she didn't go all the way down the stairs, so she kind of stuck her head out. So all I see is a wall and a head and hair hanging down with the head up the ceiling, basically.
No.
Freaked me out.
No.
Completely. I didn't shit myself, but that was very close.
You would have been, man, you would have heard a little girl come out of my voice.
With stairs behind. And you're sitting with stairs behind you, Daryl.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't do that.
What if someone just did this on you?
Then hopefully it's my mother's ghost because she still liked me.
That's fine. That's fine. Yes, that's fine.
If it's anybody else, I'm out.
You would have done this.
Unless it wants you to think it's your mother because it knows you'd feel safe.
Hey, don't start that shit.
Oh, that's how I get it. Okay.
Anyway, that shit.
Obviously this movie goes without saying for me, it held up because I thought it was exceptional. I normally will say like, oh, why didn't I watch this earlier? I could have watched this a dozen more times. I don't know this is a movie I'd want to revisit on the regular.
I don't think I would watch that a dozen more times now.
But I could. But it's so well made.
It's good. It's really good.
I want to own it, and I would revisit it at some point to appreciate just how well made it is.
Stretch it out a little bit. So don't watch it all the time, but make a couple
like
of years
Peter. Don't do it like Peter. Don't watch it all the time like Peter.
Wow. Can you imagine? Could you imagine his wife coming in the living room and the scenes that pop up and she's like, "What the fuck are you watching?"
It would be worse if I did this.
Okay, really, Peter?
Oh, Peter!
Now you've gotten it canceled. Now
we're done.
I'm saying Peter lives in Sweden. They don't play that cancel game in Sweden. So
you know, it's been fun.
You'd be surprised.
It's been fun doing this show. It was nice. We want to say goodbye to all the fans that have watched the show.
Well, Rick and I basically work for ourselves, so we have no one to answer to. So if you guys have to leave, I understand. So before we sail off to the sunset, Rick, would you like to tell everybody where they could find you, your great writing, your other stuff, anything you want to pimp? Please do the pimpage.
Yeah, man. My column called Film Fury can be read on Monster Kids Central, which you can Google that. You can contact me on Facebook under Rick Patterson. And hopefully this time next year, I'll be shooting a movie that I'm writing right now.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Homage to Giallo films and found footage all at the same time.
Oh, nice, dude.
So called Cut Down the Middle. So
that's a good title. I like that.
Yeah, I like that one myself. So
yeah,
we're in the end phase of just the structure of it and everything. And we're going to start the actual writing here shortly and hopefully start crowdfunding by, I'm hoping, October, November. So
please let me know when you do that, because we could do like a bonus episode and have you on. And I mean, I don't know how much you'll get from us or audience, but
at least 5 or 6 people.
You'll at least get 5 or 6. I was going to say $5 or $6.
$10 going probably.
I was going to say $5 or $6, Daryl. But if you want to say be generous, say 5 or 6 people.
Well, $1 a person.
Okay, that's fair. But my point is that I would be happy to promote whatever you're doing, dude. So let me know.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah.
All right, Daryl.
You can find me on Nothing's On podcast, where we talk all things TV and movies, and it's been a lot of crazy news on both fronts with all the strikes going on. And we discuss a bunch of shows that we watched. On the Patreon, you can also catch us. We're doing a review of the first season of Star Wars Ahsoka, and so you can catch it for $1. You can get the extra stuff on the Patreon. And even Tom King, who's the guy that was working for Warner Brothers, this is his first interview was with me because he's a buddy of mine, and we put that up so people could hear him when he first started in the business before he became a gazillionaire now. So
cool, man. I imagine you being like my editor. He'll just drop names and stuff, and I'll be like, wait, can we stop?
I was gonna ask Daryl if he needed to like bend over to pick up the name that he just dropped.
Wow.
Well, you know,
wow.
It's like when I was on the Rolling Thunder one. You're like, well, you know, I have a few friends who are in writers' rooms of a major TV show, and
this is what Daryl wants to make sure he keeps us in our place, so we understand he has real friends that are important.
That's not why.
It's Tom King. Okay.
I mean, it's not why.
Like Daryl had said, I was talking to the showrunner for Picard the other day, actually, and they said what they wanted to do, and I've been like, wait, who?
Oh, I dropped that name too. I'd be dropping them names with the quickness. I've been dropping them names with that quickness.
So is that all, Daryl? Is that where they can find you?
Also, if you're a comic fan, you can check out my Gotham by Geeks podcast. It's a Batman-oriented podcast. We just talked about Tom King's Batman Killing Time.
Now, wait, hold on. Is he a friend of yours?
He is, because I'm actually in that book. He actually had me. My name is actually in the book.
Very nice.
But it's a really good Batman thing. It's a cool Batman book. Also on DC All Stars, which is a DC Comics oriented podcast. I just had Philip Kennedy Johnson on there. No, Philip Kennedy Johnson was on there. He's another friend of mine. He's writing Action Comics, and he's doing the Hulk right now. So he's a pretty good dude. Nice. So we had fun with that.
Very cool. I think we finally have officially busted Daryl's balls, and he didn't have a super snarky comeback.
I drop names. I don't need comebacks right now.
Oh, yeah. All right, Peter. What yes, you are. Anything you want to drop?
No, my balls.
You're on an amazing show with
you do podcasts,
Allison,
man.
And me. You could drop me as
you deal with him.
That's so
and
sad.
By proxy, hang on that way. By proxy, I'm no Tom King then.
There you go. By proxy.
Yeah, you do. You do.
They can find me here. They can go to Terror on the Tube, which is I don't know, more sane, or I don't know. It's with Joel, and which kind of
it's a little bit more respectable.
Yeah.
Because of Allison, not
only because of Allison. That's
only because of Allison. Yeah, where we talk about TV movies from 70s, 80s, and 2 from the 90s, which we kind of would have wanted it to just be one still.
And
Undead Wookiee with Hugh. Because we dropped an episode not that long ago. And we have a couple more we have a list there too, actually.
Yes, that is very good, very good. And of course, I can be found here, Terror on the Tube, Jay of the Dead's new horror movies. Be sure to check that out. He's supposed to start releasing all of the Saw coverage we're doing leading up to Saw 10. Daryl, I had only seen Saw 1, which I really like. I had seen none of the sequels, and in the last month, I've seen them all. I'm about to do, I think the only one left is Spiral. And I've seen them all. Some of them it is. And some of them I actually liked way, way, way more than I thought I would. There have been a couple, though.
Well, it's a franchise.
It is.
Bound to be a couple of clunkers in it.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely a couple. So definitely check that out. Check out Jay's show. And, of course, Mom and Pop Video Shop, which if you want to see the video version of this episode is where you can find that as well.
Go there,
be sure to go there. Comment below the episode. Let us know if you actually got to this point in the episode on YouTube. Leave a comment. Or if you listen to the audio version, go over to YouTube and leave a comment. I'm fine with that too. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Do all that nonsense too. And I think on that note, any final words?
Welcome home, cunt.
You just reminded me of my wife.
Thank you for listening. Get all the spookiness you can handle this October by subscribing to Mom and Pop Video Shop on YouTube. You can also find Retro Movie Geek on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you dig up your podcasts. The spooktastic music you heard at the beginning and end of this episode was provided courtesy of Ed and Gavin and their band, Midnight Syndicate. We want to thank them for the use of music from their albums, Gates of Delirium and The 13th Hour. Want to sink your ghostly claws into this and all Midnight Syndicate's beautifully macabre music? Then go to midnightsyndicate.com. And remember, spooky is